Hi, it's Disney Girl back for another Disney's Magic Kingdoms game prediction video. So today we are going to be talking about what collection could be added next to the game and why. Now, Pocahontas does seem like the obvious choice, so let's talk about why another Disney princess would be added this year to the kingdom. So you guys probably remember back in December of 2018, we had the Ralph Breaks the Internet limited time event. Now this event really opened the doors for a large expansion on our Disney princesses. Whether they were already in the kingdom or were to be added after that event, we have seen a lot of expansions for these collections. So for example, we started off with our first limited time event of the year with Princess and the Frog, which meant that Princess Tiana was added to the kingdom along with her comfy cozy costume. After that, we did have another limited time event, which was Moana, and again she got her comfy cozy costume. Now in terms of permanent content, we had an expansion with the Cinderella storyline where we added Anastasia, Drizella, and Lady Tremaine. And obviously you guys probably remember during the Wreck-It Ralph event, we did get some costumes for the princesses so that they could get all nice and comfy cozy, along with an attraction that they could go ahead and visit in their costume, which was the princess dressing room. So really all that is left is to add the last two Disney princesses to our kingdom, one being Pocahontas and the other being Merida. Now it does make sense that Pocahontas comes next because we have had some dialogue references from Moana about Pocahontas. Now they have been very subtle, so they were sometimes a little bit easy to miss. Now the reason why I say that those subtle dialogue hints kind of means that she would be coming next is because we did see those also with Princess Tiana. Before the Moana event came out, which was obviously after the Princess and the Frog one, we did have some, again, subtle references with Tiana referring to Moana. And then naturally, Moana came next in the next limited time event. So I feel like there's a little bit of a pattern going on here in terms of dialogue references and whatnot. Now, why do I think that Pocahontas would be before Merida in some ways besides the dialogue subtle hints would be because I think Merida is still a little bit up in the air whether she will be added as a limited time event or just be added to our main storyline as permanent content. Now we do have some Disney princesses that are permanent content and part of our main storyline, and we do have others that again were included in limited time events. So before we talk about the Pocahontas characters that would be added in that collection, we are going to review what Disney princesses we currently have in the kingdom. Right now, there are 13 Disney princesses. Now, one of them is technically now a queen, but she still does count as a Disney princess. This would be Elsa. Now, I know on a lot of the lists that are out there, Elsa and Anna are not always there or included yet because I think they are still a little bit more of a modern Disney princess movie. Now let's go ahead and review the list. So we have Snow White, Cinderella, Rapunzel, Vanellope, Elsa and Anna, Jasmine, Aurora, Mulan, Belle, Ariel, Tiana, and finally Moana was the last one that was added to the kingdom. So as I said, all that is left is Pocahontas and Merida. So could Pocahontas be the 14th Disney princess added to our kingdom? So Pocahontas is a Native American chief's daughter, who is the 7th Disney princess added to the list. She first appeared in 1995 in Disney's 33rd animated feature film. So let's talk about when we will be getting this lovely Disney princess into our kingdom and when she will be able to get her comfy cozy costume and of course be in the princess dressing room. Looking at June's leaked calendar for Disney's Magic Kingdoms game, there are 2 to 3 possible times where the Pocahontas limited time event could start. The first one being on June the 10th, where we can see a legendary Big Hero 6 chest. Now I do believe that is a little bit too early because Tower Challenge number 6 ends on Friday, June the 7th. And on the 7th we are also getting Toy Story 4's Bo Peep's costume, which we will be able to start collecting for. So I don't think that they are going to be giving us a limited time event that early. And besides, they like to usually usually give us about a week where they start giving us some clues and they have a live stream and all that kind of stuff. So I do feel like maybe the 13th or 14th is realistically roughly when they would start the Pocahontas event. Now I will explain why the 13th and 14th in and around there, because there is really nothing special about the calendar when we look at it there, but I will explain that in just a second. Now the other possible time is in and around the 20th and 21st, where we do see a Winnie the Pooh legendary chest. Now Winnie the Pooh, that does make sense to be used as a secondary storyline for Pocahontas. That is why I do think that the event will be going on when that legendary chest is released to us as part of the calendar. Now the only problem with it starting on the 20th is that Toy Story 4 will be in theaters, and that is also when we are getting the permanent content release for Toy Story 4, which we've already got the update for it, which was update number 30, but we will be able to start collecting for Ducky and purchase Forky, because he is a premium character, on the 20th. So I really don't think that they are going to have a limited time event start on the same day that we are getting a permanent content release. So that being said, I do feel like the 13th or 14th, it makes sense. Now too, these events go about 26 days. Now if we count 26 days, if we start on the 13th or 14th, that gets us to finish around July 9th or 10th. Now why is that really significant? Well, Lion King will be in theaters on July 19th. So I am thinking that it is possible that we will be getting Tower Challenge number 7th to start in and around the 15th, 16th, which means that the event has to finish for Pocahontas around the 9th or the 10th to give us a few days to get our kingdom in order and for them to give us a live stream. So just sort of looking at things and sort of what they've been doing, that is sort of what I'm thinking. Now, I know it kind of makes our kingdom extremely busy with a limited time event, obviously Toy Story 4 permanent content, finishing up Tower Challenge number 6 and starting Tower Challenge number 7. Again, it would make our kingdom very busy, but guys, it is the summer, and you know what? Kids are out of school, they're going to be playing the game a little bit more, and it's a really good time for them to sort of add, a lot more events and keep us busy. Now, I think after that, we will need probably a week or two of just being left alone to do whatever we need to do with our kingdom, just as part of our main storyline and stuff like that. But I really do feel like if they don't give us any limited time event in June, well, I mean, it would give us a nice little break from events and stuff like that, but I just don't feel like we're gonna be busy enough. We just have too big of a break in between when Bo Peep's costume comes out on the 7th and when obviously Bunny, Ducky, and Forky will be released to us on the 20th. That's just quite a big gap for this time of year personally. But again, we never know what is coming. Now in between there, I think that they could add maybe a leaderboard event or something like that, if they don't have a limited time event, obviously. And maybe that will give them an opportunity, if they still wanted to keep us busy and not give us too big of a break, would be maybe to add some more comfy costumes with our Disney princesses, because there are still some that do not have costumes. We know that Cinderella has a costume, Jasmine does, Mulan, Belle, Ariel, Tiana, and Moana. But what about the rest of our Disney princesses? Because Snow White doesn't have one, Rapunzel doesn't have one, Vanellope isn't her comfy costume, so I guess that doesn't really count. And then obviously Elsa, Anna, and Aurora. Now the big thing there though is that we're kind of looking at Elsa and Anna not being an option, but there have been some fabric leaks and stuff like that. I'm not going to show you that in this video, but we will definitely be talking about that in upcoming videos, why maybe Rapunzel and Aurora would be getting comfy costumes. Now again, they could add that in a limited time event or give us that kind of thing to sort of work on and collect in between sort of the end of Tower Challenge number 6 and the release of the Toy Story 4 characters and stuff like that. So again, they could keep us busy without giving us a limited time event, but I still feel like not having a limited time event, would be a little bit disappointing, and it would kind of screw up the pattern for the Tower Challenges, because I think that we're probably going to be getting, if we have a Tower Challenge, 2 characters like they did for Tower Challenge number 6. They gave us Raja as the featured character to collect for, and then we had a premium character, which was the Sultan that we could purchase. Now, it's the first time we've had 2 characters added, but I think with Lion King, if they sort of keep to the schedule of what they've been doing. We could obviously maybe have like Ed or Chauncey as, being the hyenas, if you guys didn't know that. The hyenas obviously maybe being added as either a premium or to collect for. Now, I think I would say that the featured character to collect for would probably be Chauncey, and then having Sarabi, which is obviously Simba's mom, she could be the premium character if they decide to do that. And again, it would make sense if they have Lion King as a tower challenge, because that collection is already in our kingdom and was part of a limited time event. So that is just what I'm thinking in terms of the calendar, what we've seen, what makes sense. And again, I think that Winnie the Pooh secondary storyline, that legendary chest in the calendar, I feel like it kind of gives it away for a limited time event. But I could be wrong there, but it does give us a few options for sure. So now let's just dive right into the characters, attractions, concessions, decorations, parade floats, all of that fun stuff, and how much roughly everything is going to cost for the Pocahontas limited time event. So I think the first character that would start us off in the Pocahontas event would be Nakoma. Now, Nakoma is Pocahontas' best friend and really the closest thing that she has to a mother. Now, why is this significant in terms of DMK adding her as the first character in the event? Well, if we look at the previous two events that we have had this year in 2019, we had Tiana's mom start us off in the Princess and the Frog event, and that was Eudora. And then in the Moana limited time event, we had Cinna start us off in that event. So I do think that it would make sense that Nakoma sort of start us off with the storyline. And two, if Pocahontas really has run off like she usually does, it would make sense that Nakoma would notice that she is missing first. Now, who would be the first person she would probably go to? It would probably be Chief Powhatan, who is Pocahontas' father. Now, he does play quite a significant role in the film, which does make sense that he would be added in this event. Now, who would the chief go to after that to search for Pocahontas? Well, I'm sure he's got all the resources on land, so I would say he would probably take to the sky. Now, the only character that could do that would be Flit. Now, yes, Flit is a bird, so yes, there will probably not be that much dialogue, but at least it would give the story some sort of direction there for sure. Now, after Flit, obviously we need a villain. Now, the villain for Pocahontas, it would definitely be Governor Radcliffe. Now, Governor Radcliffe, I think he's got to appear in this event for sure, so it would make sense that he is the fourth character. Now, after that, I think that we will get Pocahontas as the fifth character. Now, in these events, we usually get 7 new characters. So really, that just leaves us with the 2 paid characters. So the first one I'm thinking would be Miko, and the second one would be John Smith. So realistically, in these events, the first paid character is 200 gems, and then the second character is 300 gems. Now, I will talk about the possible prices and stuff like that for these bundles a little bit later, but that sort of gives you an idea of sort of where I think the storyline would go. And again, I don't think they would have Flit and Miko because there's really not that much dialogue with the two of them, but I do think that they at least need to have one of Pocahontas's like animal friends be the premium character. And I think Miko is a little bit more popular that way, so I do think that that's why they would have him as a premium. Now, Captain John Smith, I mean, it is touch and go whether he would be premium, but I do think that he would be a great second premium character, and it would make sense because we're all obviously going to want him as well, so that would sort of, in terms of the storyline and stuff like that, I think that would be a great direction that they could go. Now, that gives us 7 characters. Now, there are 3 other possible ones that, depending on the direction of the storyline, that they could incorporate. The first one being Percy. Percy is Governor Radcliffe's dog, but it does have a lot of sort of interaction with Miko and stuff like that. So it is possible that Percy could be added. Now, I do think Percy would be a great one maybe to be added as a tower challenge a little bit later on. So I think they might sort of exclude him from this event. Now, there are 2 other ones. Now, again, a little bit less likely to appear in the event, but nonetheless, I'll throw them out there. Kocoum, but he does pass in the film, but sometimes they do sort of bring back somebody who's passed. So like Grandma Tala, she passes away in the Moana film and stuff like that, but she is a character in our kingdom. And Kocoum, well, I mean, he passes. It is possible that he could sort of appear in the event, but as I said, I think we've got some pretty strong characters there, so I don't think he will. So Kocoum and then Thomas. Now, Thomas is sort of John Smith's sort of right-hand man type of thing. But again, I do think that Thomas will be excluded from this as well. So Kocoum, Thomas, and Percy I think will be left out, but they are other options depending on the direction of the storyline. Now let's sort of go right to costumes. Now I do think that they will incorporate one costume in this event, which will be the comfy cozy costume for Pocahontas. Again, in keeping with that Ralph breaks the internet princess theme sort of that appears to be sort of going on, I do think that Pocahontas will get her comfy costume. So I do think that that is really going to be it though in terms of costumes. There's really nothing else I think that they can do with this event. Now let's talk about attractions. So attractions, this could get a little bit interesting. Now attractions, this could vary a little bit depending on what they have as the battlegrounds and stuff like that. So I think though that kind of the most important attraction that they definitely need to have in this event is Grandma Willow. Grandma Willow cannot be a character, so I do think that it sort of leaves a lot of good direction in terms of the storyline and stuff like that. I do think that a lot of characters can actually go and visit Grandma Willow and have discussions. So Miko, Flit, Nakoma, Captain John Smith can go. I think maybe they'll exclude Governor Radcliffe from going and maybe Chief Powhatan, but you never know. Now, Grandma Willow, I do think would be definitely a perfect attraction for this event. Now, after that, it gets a little bit more fuzzy. The River Bend, I think that would be a really cool attraction. Now, I do think they might incorporate some of that in the battlegrounds, which I'll talk about in a minute, but I think the River Bend would be a really great attraction for sure to have. Sort of like what they did with the Moana event, they had the ocean. So again, I do think that there's going to be a little bit of sort of similarity with that. Now, after that, I think they might have the Chief's tent, and then after that either a camp or a ship. Now this I'm not really sure, but it's obviously more for characters like Captain John Smith and Governor Radcliffe and stuff like that to go and visit. So I'm thinking that a camp or a ship might be a good idea for that. Again, depending on what direction they sort of decide to go with the event and depending on what the battlegrounds are. So the battlegrounds, again, I think will probably be, we'll sort of, I guess, go into that now, will probably be maybe the River Bend and again around obviously like either the ship or the fort or whatever that happens to be there. So I do think that maybe that would be, you know, a great way to sort of have a battlegrounds or have that whole sort of process going. Now, after that, there is one other possibility that they could have as an attraction, and I wasn't going to really bring this up, but I will just sort of throw it out there. Now, there is the cliff. Now, the cliff, you guys are probably like, what cliff? Well, this is quite significant because this is where at the very sort of beginning of the film, or at least sort of the first time we see Pocahontas, this is where she appears, and this is where we kind of learn about the colors of the wind, and we sort of see her dive, so we get like a lot. We learn a lot, at least, about her personality and all of that. So I do think that that is definitely a possibility as well for an attraction, but a little bit less likely. Now, I have listed quite a few there. That's like 5 attractions. Now, they'll only give us 4. So it's usually 7 characters, 4 attractions, 3 concessions, and then like 3 decorations, a parade float, and yeah, I think usually we'll just 1 costume. Sometimes they'll give us more, but really, realistically, that's all they give us. Now, one of those attractions will be for gems, and which one, well, that's to be determined, but I think that maybe Grandma Willow would be, just because I think that would probably be the most popular for us, and that would roughly be about 150 gems. Again, I'm going to go over all the prices for things and stuff like that a little bit later, but again, that's sort of what I'm thinking in the direction that they go with attractions. Now, decorations, I'm a little bit stuck on this one, guys, so again, like, if you guys have other ideas and stuff like that of how this direction of the event could go, again, let me know in the comments below, even character ideas or anything. I love to read about all of you guys' sort of ideas with these events. So let's go decorations. I think this one might sound a little silly, but I was thinking maybe a pile of dirt with maybe like a shovel in it. Now, why that? Well, it's because like a lot of the guys and stuff like that are trying to dig for gold, so I'm sort of thinking that maybe that would sort of be an interesting decoration to have. They do have something similar to that actually with the Snow White limited time event. They definitely had like basically a pile of gems and stuff like that. That's sort of where I got the idea. with all of that. So I'm thinking that might be kind of a bit of a funny one. Next, I'm thinking maybe some corn stalks, or either like Percy and Miko maybe like in a bathtub or something like that, eating cherries. I think that would be actually like the most hilarious decoration in the entire world, but I think it would be super funny. Now, in terms of the gold trophy that we usually get with like the leaderboard events and stuff like that, I was thinking maybe they could incorporate Miko for that and then give him like the chief's hat. So there is a scene in the Pocahontas film where Miko like does put the chief's hat on, and I do think that would actually make for a very, very popular gold trophy, and I'm sure all of us will want it for sure if that is the case. So I'm thinking that would be pretty cute. Now, concessions. Well, I think it can go a few ways with concessions as well. I'm like less stuck on like the characters. I was like, oh, these are the characters I totally think. Now, concessions, again, there's a little bit of breathing room here. So the first one I think would be the cookie stand, and I think it's going to be basically like Miko's cookie stand, because Miko has like a big thing with John Smith's cookies, so I'm thinking that maybe that would be a really sort of cute concession stand. Next, I think would be the chief's hat, so something sort of going off of Chief Powhatan. I'm thinking like some sort of like Indian type of chief's hat would be cool. After that, I was thinking maybe like Percy or like a flip backpack might be kind of cute. Again, it's kind of hard, I think, with Pocahontas, for me at least, sort of picking concession stands. The other one could be cherries, sort of, again, to sort of symbolize the whole Percy and Miko relationship. However, the cherry stand is less likely because we already have a cherry stand that appeared with the Wreck-It Ralph event. So again, I don't think they'll have that one, but again, it is another possibility and stuff like that, because it's usually like food or, you know, a backpack or a drink or something. And I don't really know in terms of drinks what they would have for Pocahontas. Water? But I don't really know. Anyways, moving on. And the other one would be maybe like, I don't want to say the popcorn, because they already have a popcorn cart in the kingdom, but maybe like corn like on the cob type of thing might be kind of cool. The other way they could go is maybe Pocahontas's necklace, but there isn't usually a lot of like necklace sort of concession stands or anything like that, but that would open the door for sort of new possibilities. So that's sort of what I'm thinking with concession stands. I don't really have any particular one I'd love to see. Maybe the Miko cookie stand would be cool, and maybe Percy or Flip backpack, but other than that, like I think having that as a bit of a surprise from DMK, that'll be kind of nice. Now, the parade float. This I found a little bit tricky as well, but I'm thinking maybe it could be quite simple, is to have a boat and have the colors of the wind sort of blowing around and stuff like that. So I'm thinking maybe that's sort of the way they could go with the parade float, but again, I'm open to suggestions and ideas for that one for sure. But I think that basically covers in terms of what they are going to give us. Now let's go ahead here and talk about some of the prices for things. Now, the parade float usually is 50 gems, or it comes in a bundle. Now, the parade bundle is usually the float plus, in the Wreck-It Ralph event, this is at least what happened. It was the parade float plus 1,500 of the event currency, and that was, in my country, $279. Now, the prices will vary depending on where you are in the world, but the parade bundle for me was $279, so I'm thinking that that would be kind of a good one. Another bundle they would have is the event currency bundle. Now, this one, I'm thinking basing this off of totally, at least this section is of the predictions, would be based off of the I'm Gonna Wreck It limited time event, and that was for Wreck-It Ralph or Ralph Breaks the Internet event, as we've been talking about throughout this video. So I'm thinking the event currency bundle would be 80 gems plus 2,500 event currency for $549. And again, this is what it's been in the past, so I'm just sort of going off of that. Now, in the I'm Gonna Wreck It event, we had Calhoun and Felix as the two premium characters. So Calhoun was the first one at 200 gems, and you could purchase her as well as a bundle, and you would get, in that case, it was the burnt pie stand. So I'm thinking that maybe for this one, what we'll have is, if Miko is actually sort of in replacement of Calhoun, we'll have Miko, and then maybe that would be with his cookie stand. I think that would be really cute, and that price would be $549, or at least that's what they did for that event. The second paid character is usually 300 gems, and so again, that usually, if you buy it in a bundle, it will come with a character and a concession stand. So the Fix-It Felix's high score bundle, it was $8.49, and so I'm thinking that if that's the case, I'm thinking Captain John Smith, and then I don't know what they would add necessarily for him, maybe the corn concession stand if they decide to go that route, that I think that would be a really good choice for that. And that bundle, again, $8.49. Now after that leaves us with Pocahontas's bundle. Now, Pocahontas's bundle, obviously she'll be available once you unlock her and stuff. You'll be able to purchase her, and she'll come with a concession stand. Now, what concession stand? Well, I'm thinking if they do like a flit backpack or something, I think that could kind of be a bit of a fun concession stand that they could have in terms of her bundle. And she usually goes for $13.99. So you can only sort of either collect for her, or you'll just be able to sort of buy her outright. Now, in terms of these concession stands, guys, I will talk about what the prices will be like if you want them, like without including them in a bundle and stuff like that. If you don't want to spend real money, I will tell you what they will be for gems in just a second here. But first, we'll address the comfy costume bundle. So this bundle will be called the Comfy Pocahontas bundle. So it'll be the costume plus 40 gems, and then that will be roughly about $6.99. So that is sort of where we're going with that. That's basically sort of all of the paid stuff that you can do. Again, except for obviously the attraction you can obviously get. That's usually 150 gems. It can come in a bundle as well, and it could incorporate some like radiant chests or whatever, if those are the chests for the event. It is possible that we'll maybe be able to have that, because we did see that in the Moana event. We did see that attraction that was for gems. We did see that appear as a bundle as well with some chests. So it could make it a little bit fun if they decide to do that. Now, the concession stands, if you guys want the 3 concession stands that will be featured throughout the event, they do go for about 60 gems. Now, there is sort of one concession stand that's usually a little bit more than that. In the I'm Gonna Wreck It event, they had the pancake milkshake concession stand, and that was 75 gems. So that was a little bit more expensive. So I guess that was sort of a bit of an incentive if you guys wanted to purchase Pocahontas and stuff like that, because you're having trouble collecting for her. Again, that was a huge incentive for everybody to sort of go ahead and buy that bundle, because they would get that concession stand as well that's usually worth gems. So usually though, I don't buy the character bundle, I actually just use the gems, but I usually do at least try and purchase one of the bundles, which is usually the Parade Float bundle, because it helps out with the currency sort of early on in the event, and I really do like that nice sort of cushion of event currency right at the beginning. So it's usually the one I purchase, and again, it's the cheapest bundle. Again, $2.79 is what it was for the I'm Gonna Wreck It event. So basically, looking at that, like, that's a really good bundle to buy. It's cheap, it's useful, and it really helps you out in the event. Now, again, characters, I know that those are a little bit more expensive and stuff like that, but they are really worth it. You do get some great characters and stuff like that in these bundles, but I understand that there are a lot of gems and they can be a little bit expensive for some people. So definitely pick and choose who you want, but they definitely will be very useful. I do find that second character is more useful for the second half of the event, and that first character is more useful for the first half. So if you're going to choose one or the other, it depends on sort of how strong you want to have as a start. If you're a smaller kingdom, I say go for that first paid or premium character that's 200 gems, or again, it will appear as like $5.49, for example. I would go for that bundle first if you guys are a smaller kingdom, and if you are a bigger kingdom, I would say wait and get the second bundle. Again, if you're picking and choosing characters and stuff like that, I would wait for the second one. Again, smaller kingdoms, it's a little bit harder to finish these events. I will always walk you through though the entirety of the event, and I post them, like the videos, quite quickly, so you guys obviously can keep up with with me and what I'm doing, and I will help you get through the entire event. And again, if you guys have questions during the event, I usually answer them either during a live stream or in the comment section. So there will be a lot sort of communication stuff with me, obviously, with those events and stuff. And I want you guys to get through the events. So I do try and help you guys as much as I can. I think that covers everything to do with the Pocahontas limited time event. I think I am really excited, obviously, for a few characters here. My favorite ones obviously being Miko and I would say Pocahontas. Why Pocahontas? Well, obviously she's a princess, but her comfy cozy costume looks super cute in the I'm Gonna Wreck It movie. I've obviously left an image in the video and stuff like that for you guys to see, but I definitely think that that's really cute. And then Miko, well, he's just hilarious, and who doesn't like Miko, to be honest? So yeah, anyways, that is my predictions for the Pocahontas limited time event. So we will be discussing it more on Friday during my live stream when we do have the release of Bo Peep's costume. I will be going live about a half an hour before it is officially released. We'll also be doing a bit of a Tower Challenge recap during that as well. So yeah, we'll be doing a lot more DMK stuff on Friday, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. So thanks guys for watching another Disney Girls Disney's Magic Kingdoms game prediction video. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big Mickey thumbs up. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe and hit that bell for post notifications. Thanks for watching, and we will see you for the next one.